Today, we are diving deep into the psychology behind this shift, not to assign blame, but to provide clarity and empower you. We're talking about the real story of female desire, which is often far more complex than simple attraction. It's about emotional safety, mindset, and personal responsibility. Before we unpack this crucial topic, hit that like button, let me know where you're watching from in the comments, and subscribe so you can keep getting the honest, supportive health advice you deserve. Many men are fed the myth that their wife's desire is like a light switch that they are responsible for flipping back on through the right technique, the perfect date, or saying exactly the right words. When they fail, they are led to believe, it's my fault, I'm not doing enough, I'm not man enough. Gentlemen, this is a harmful narrative. Here's the truth I've learned from working with both men and women. The switch isn't external. It's not a button you can press. It is an internal emotional gate that a woman controls entirely, often unconsciously, based on her personal mindset and emotional health. In the beginning of a relationship, the excitement and the goal, commitment, family, stability, often keep this gate wide open. Sex is wonderful, frequent, and easy. But once life settles and the initial excitement fades, if the woman hasn't built a healthy emotional life outside of her husband, those emotional walls, fueled by self-doubt, old baggage, or resentment, start to go up. The critical insight here is this: you cannot dismantle a wall that you did not build. Her switch going off is almost never about you changing. It is about her mindset shifting. This is the confusing part for good men. You meet her, you're consistent, you're kind, you're committed, the exact traits she supposedly wants, and yet the connection fades. Why? Because the emotional distance is often rooted in her lack of self-accountability and a refusal to look in the mirror. She may start blaming external factors, her past, her self-esteem, her need for you to change techniques, but these become stories and excuses used to justify the emotional disengagement. I've seen men spend years reading every book, going to every counselor, and exhausting themselves trying to meet these ever-shifting demands, only to be told, no, that's not quite right. Good men, listen closely. Your wife's switch was on when she met you, before you changed anything. It's a powerful realization to understand that if the switch is off now, it is her problem to solve, not yours. Your energy must be redirected to your own peace and dignity. So if you can't turn her switch on, what crucial mistakes must you avoid to protect your peace and your dignity? Mistake 3, falling for the "I need you to change" narrative. Have you found yourself going down rabbit holes of complex requests only to find the goalpost moves again? Biologically, constantly adapting your behavior to meet shifting demands creates a state of chronic performance anxiety. This stress response floods your system with cortisol, which is toxic to libido and confidence. You literally train your body to associate intimacy with stress and failure. Emotionally, when you accept the narrative that you are the problem, you sacrifice your dignity and self-respect. You are allowing the relationship dynamic to be defined by a feeling of perpetual inadequacy. This is crushing to a man's sense of worth. Practically, gently but firmly decline to engage in fix-it projects suggested by your wife aimed at changing your technique or personality. Redirect the focus by saying, "I'm the same man you married. I'm committed to our overall happiness, but I won't chase a moving target." Mistake 2, accepting emotional withholding as normal. Are you allowing the emotional distance to become the new baseline just to keep the peace or maintain stability? Biologically, accepting infrequent or obligatory intimacy, what some might call the string-along phenomenon, starves your body of the essential bonding hormones, like oxytocin, needed for deep security. It also normalizes a state of anxiety and longing. Emotionally, when you settle for the bare minimum, you signal to yourself and your partner that you believe you are unworthy of a thriving, joyful connection. This self-denial is highly corrosive to your spirit and your long-term relationship happiness. Practically, focus on non-sexual, genuine connection instead of waiting for infrequent physical acts. If she tries to disengage physically or emotionally outside the bedroom, address it calmly. Say, "I miss our connection. Let's talk about what's really going on with us, not just our schedules." Mistake 1, believing she's stuck in victimhood. Have you tried to fix her low self-esteem or past trauma as the reason for the lack of connection. Biologically, taking on the role of savior or therapist for your partner's long-term emotional issues is an enormous physical and mental burden. It leads to caregiver fatigue and emotional burnout, which severely impacts your own hormonal health. Emotionally, when a woman is stuck in a victim mentality, it's my past, it's my dad, she is disempowered and cannot take responsibility for her own happiness. Your attempts to save her only enable this position. You lose your role as a partner and become her doctor, a role that kills desire. Practically, support her seeking professional help for her past, but stop trying to be her therapist. Clearly and lovingly state, I want you to be happy, but your happiness is something only you can build. I support you finding the right resources to work on yourself. Your power lies not in changing her, but in radically focusing on yourself. Here is your action plan for the next 2 weeks. First, reclaim your self-commitment. Dedicate 1 hour every day to personal health or purpose, exercise, a project, or deep learning. This is non-negotiable time just for you. Second, practice dignified disengagement. When faced with an unreasonable demand or accusation related to intimacy, respond only with, I'm not willing to participate in that conversation, and calmly exit the room. Third, find your voice. Clearly and kindly communicate your non-negotiable need for a relationship based on mutual joy and respect, not obligation. Gentlemen, please internalize this. As long as a woman believes that you or external circumstances are the cause of her unhappiness and the problem with intimacy, she is stuck in a victim role, and nothing will change. Your job is to model accountability by refusing to accept blame, by focusing on your own happiness, and by standing firmly in your dignity. You create the necessary emotional space for her to finally look in the mirror. This is not the end of vitality. This is your chance to build a relationship rooted in honesty, freedom, and mutual maturity.